I'm telling you anything that you want. And not a teacher, a counselor, a principal, nobody can stop you. I know your circumstances aren't the best. I know sometimes our home environment's not the best, but this is what I know. We're in control of our lives, and nobody can take it from you.
Finally, by trying and observing and refining and trying again, our knowledge will inevitably produce worthy results, admirable results.
All of a sudden in that instant, it became about serving people, making a difference. I'm like, oh, this is what makes me happy. Oh, I was actually born to serve and help people. Crazy. That never happened playing baseball.
Remember the losses. Remember the victims and understand that everything that you went through in your life, it had to be this way. You may question it, but it had to be this way. You may not even understand it, but it had to be this way even with the mistakes that you've made in your life. Yet it had to be this way. But the mistakes that you have made, you've learned, you've grown, and you've understood that you don't need to go back to that mistake again. And yes, sometimes you may make the same mistakes, but those mistakes can be even more crucial in your life. And this is why you must continue to push forward and get rid of the things that are not making you better.
I live with these 3 principles, and I promise you, man, they will change everything about who you are. Hard work works, make good choices, and value people. I decided 10 years ago, literally, when this all happened and I went to prison, I was like, you know what? I want to make this promise. I want to keep it to this family. I come from a lot of brokenness. I don't know where to start, but what I do know is the importance of the choices that I make. And so literally, I wrote the word, change the world, and I slapped it on my little prison cell window. And every single day I woke up and I realized, make good choices, great things happen.
And with the joy and results of our efforts, we continue to apply, to learn, to observe, to fuel our ambition with the positive reinforcement of continued progress. Pretty soon, we'll find that we're swept into a spiral of achievement, a vertical rise to success. And the ecstasy of that total experience makes for a life of triumph over tragedy, dullness, and mediocrity. But for this whole process to work for us, we must first master the art of discipline, self-discipline, consistent self-discipline.
Now, when you decide to act, you're going to have some people like that. We're no longer friends. I lost sleep over that, ladies and gentlemen.
Aim small, miss small. I promise you, if some of you will just begin to take ownership of your life, and some of you probably are already striving and doing phenomenal and making good choices, I want to say keep going. Don't give up. Keep pursuing it, because I promise you, every single one of you were meant to leave your fingerprints on history. But I'm here to tell any of you in here, if you're battling, if you're struggling, you've got to know when to cut anchor and go on about your life, because you can't be letting people live rent-free up here. You can't be letting people hold you back, and who you surround yourself with matters. Change doesn't happen by accident. Change takes intentional choices to be different, and that's just truthful. Today, I'm going to give my attitude all that I got. I'm going to give working on my character all that I got. I want to try to be responsible with all that I got. I want to be the best me with everything that I got, with all that I got. If we can every day look in the mirror and say, I don't need to be perfect, but I want to progress today.
And while I worked there, 2 years into it, the financial business that I'm in came along. And I started in it part-time, and I was the rare young businessman who approached the business world from a place of service and giving and not making money. And ironically, the more I served people, the more I made a difference, the more I contributed, the more I was rewarded financially. I didn't do it for that reason, but that's what happened. So that's how I got into the business, was actually, and again, everything, my dad wasn't an alcoholic. He's not at that meeting. I don't get that job. And if it wasn't alcoholic, I wouldn't have connected with those boys. So all of that in hindsight happened for me, right? And had I met the financial business before that, I'd have flown out of it. I'd have been about ego, making money, and when that didn't happen, I'd have left. So it all happened in the right sequence.
I said, I can't believe that. I remember sitting up one night looking at the phone. I said, gotta call him. He said, no. And I said, no, forget that. I called, man, look here, we've been knowing each other for too long to allow this to come between us. He said, don't call me anymore, and hung up. And then I wanted to think about what can I do to make it up to him, and then something came to me, Les, what do you have to prove? See, many things we don't do is because of the fact we want people to like us. There's some necessary losses in life. When you decide acting in your best interest, you're going to lose some friends. Everybody's not going to approve of you. There's some people that won't like you. Who do you think you are? You're arrogant. What do you think you can do? You think you can get away with that? You're selfish. Thanks, I got that. It's my life.
The battle continues. Carry on, be productive, be powerful, and from the bottom of my heart, conduct your business. You're feeling a little tired right now, and you don't feel like you have. Anymore, you're wandering around confused, not having a sense of awareness of who you truly are inside. Allow the outside interference to dictate your destiny. But I've allowed it to have more of a conversation with you and put you in a position where you're just feeling weak. And when you feel that particular weakness, you feel defeated. I want me to let you know right now, you're not defeated, you're just completely tired.
I kept my job at McKinley, and part-time I started in the financial services industry and started to build a team of people and started to get my licenses and that transition, and I struggled like every upstart entrepreneur does.
Well, it takes like 3 to 5 years until you really get a few clients, you know.
In any business, I don't care if it's financial services, tech, dry cleaners, entrepreneurs, the first 5 years is just full of false starts. You get it going, then you don't. You get it going, you take a step forward, you take 3 back. It's constant false starts. It's constantly thinking you have it going. It's constantly negotiating in your mind the price you're paying. Is it worth it? Should I quit? Should I give in? I spent the first 5 years daily contemplating quitting. All the time.
Because it's not fun.
It wasn't fun. And there's just a part of you, I think, in anything you're doing when you're struggling, is this really for me? Is this my destiny? Should I be doing this? And we misread failure from some sign. You know, is this a sign I shouldn't be doing it? You know, is this a sign I am, not cut out for this? Instead of looking for signs that you can win, right? And so I spent the first 5 years literally trying to find ways to quit.
We all get tired from time to time, but that doesn't mean that you are defeated. You're just a little depleted. And that means you've got to hit that reset button. That means you've got to catch that second win. That means you've got to find that other source of power and strength to carry on. You're not defeated. You're just a little bit depleted. I stand out here in this desert, and let me tell you, this time of the year is very hot. It is so hot that you can barely even. Yes, I'm tired. I'm exhausted to stand here and to reach out to so many of you to give you the message that you may need to hear, but yet I am doing what is necessary. I'm depleted, I'm tired, but I'm not defeated. Because I know I got a job to do.
Well, then you schedule that. And obviously there's a bit of responsibility that's going to go along with that, because if you have any sense, one of the things that you're going to insist upon is that at the end of the day, you're not in worse shape than you were at the beginning of the day, right? Because that's a stupid day. If you have a bunch of those in a row, you dig yourself a hole and then you bury yourself in it. It's like, sorry, that's just not a good strategy. It's a bad strategy. Plan a life you'd like to have. You have to understand that you're not your own servant, so to speak. You're someone that you have to negotiate with, and you're someone that you want to present the opportunity of having a good life to. So maybe 20% of your day has to be responsibility and obligation, or maybe it's more than that, depending on how far behind you are. But even that, you can ask yourself, okay, well, I've got these responsibilities. I have to schedule the damn things in. What's the right ratio of responsibility to reward? Maybe you do an hour of responsibility and then you play a video game for 15 minutes. I don't know, whatever turns your crank, man. But
wherever you may be, and you in a situation where things need to be done, people need to depend on you, and work has to be done at a significant time and place. You need to carry on. Do your work, you need to carry on. Do your job, because we all have a duty to society. We all got things that we need to do day in, day out. Being tired, feeling depleted doesn't mean that you're dead. Maybe you got to slow down a little bit and take your time, but you still got to keep on moving. You got to still keep on working. You got to still keep on pushing forward. You can't stop now. So when things start to show up and distractions start to happen in your life, don't feel that you are defeated. Don't feel as you're down on your knees that you are defeated. Don't be submissive to things. That doesn't control your life.
you have to negotiate with yourself and not tyrannize yourself. Like you're negotiating with someone that you care for, that you would like to be productive and have a good life. And And that's how you make the schedule. And then you look at the day and you think, well, if I had that day, that'd be good. Great. You know, and you're useless and horrible, so you'll probably only hit it with about 70% accuracy, but that beats the hell out of 0, right? And if you hit it even with 50% accuracy, another rule is, well, aim for 51% the next week, or 50.5% for God's sake, or because you're going to hit that position where things start to loop back positively and spiral you upward. One of the things you should be asking yourself is, when you spend an hour, was that, well, would have I paid someone $50 to have had that hour? And if the answer is no, it's like, well, maybe you should do something else with your time. And it depends on whether or not you think that your time's worthwhile.